What are you weighing right now? What do you weigh right now?
I haven't stepped on a scale, and I don't really plan on it for
Oh shit! Let's not record this. It's
probably 68. 68? Oh, I haven't really eaten much this week. So yeah, he's like last week.
If he's eating like an asshole, he's 70. But if he's like regular, 65.
Yeah.
So he only cuts 20.
Yeah, usually pretty good.
68, 20. Yeah. 20. And you don't have 20 to cut.
Yeah.
It's all water.
That was my debut. Less than 2 weeks notice, and 20 pounds.
20 pounds.
After 8 days in Vegas. Rough.
You get the salt out of you. You gotta spit. Yep. You gotta get in the. You do when you cut, like, do you do a sauna, or you do like hot water, dry yourself off?
I've done them all. I've done the sauna. The sauna I don't love the most, but there's a what's the bodysuit sauna or the portable sauna where you get your hands and your head outside of the heat.
Yeah.
That's kind of nice. You know, your body's warming up, but you're not freaking out inside like.
When I'd always try and cut, I would do like super hot, like hot tubs, like make the bath like crazy hot. Sit there until I'm like almost about to fall out. Then I get out, and then I would dry off and lay on the tile and like get my mind right, and then go back in, and then towel dry every time I get out. Because when you get in there for too long, you start to get loopy.
Usually I'll do my whole cut, and then the morning of, if I need to lose a pound or two, I'll sit in the tub.
Yeah.
But at that point, man, you're already sitting in the tub. It takes about an hour to lose that, pound
or
so.
Yeah.
And then we open the drain, and we keep the water going, so it's constant temperature.
Yeah.
And then you just hear that water just dripping, and then like it's just coming down, and then you're losing this weight for an hour. You kind of get like hypnotized to this water noise. You start losing your mind.
All right, so what are we gonna do? We're gonna set it. I know these guys gotta work.
He wants us on the ends.
Okay.
In the middle.
All right. Okay. Sweet.
We got no script or anything. So.
Yeah, we just kind of go
wing it. You can sit anywhere you want.
So we're back, another episode of the Dan and Ninko Show, this time at Encore, which I walked in, I was confused on where I was going, but we're here in this awesome venue, about to see one of the premier fights of the Combat Zone MMA. We're with a bunch of badasses here I would not want to fight, because even though I might be 100 pounds more than these guys, they'd still beat my ass in 3 seconds.
I haven't told them what your favorite pastime is, though.
What's that?
Being choked out. I
don't want to get choked out. Listen, I looked
up
about
this.
If getting
you looked
choked
at me
out
and said, "You've never been choked out before." Like I had like a wrong upbringing as a kid.
No, when you get choked out, it's. I mean, you all know. Like, you get choked out, you wrestle. It's like it's a fun thing.
But Ninko likes it though, because he was telling me, he's like, it seems like you had a bad childhood because you didn't get choked out by your friends every so often. Like it was like
a part
party.
of like the culture of playing football and wrestling and all that shit. If you get knocked out, it's like normal. It's normal.
You were talking about getting choked out.
Choked out and knocked out. It's a similar feeling. Like you wake up, you're like, what the hell happened?
I get it. It's like a concussion, like you're knocked
it's
out,
like
but
you
you
don't
enjoy
really know
it.
what the hell happened. Yeah. So, I looked into it and I was like, does getting choked out kill brain cells? And when I read like it does, I was like, all right, well, I've already destroyed a lot of brain cells, so I don't know if I want to hit any more brain cells.
How many times have you been choked out?
How many times?
Yeah.
A good amount. I mean, like a few in high school, and then you wrestle and you get choked out. So where was I at? It was my first or second year here in New England. Oh God, I'm having a brain fart for the player that we had. He was
that's where that brain cell went.
No, he was a guard. I can't believe I can't remember his name right now.
Stephen Neal.
Steve Neal. Badass wrestler, like badass. Love Steve Neal. So one time we're just messing around. The dude beat Brock Lesnar, in the national championship to win the national championship. He was a freaking freak at heavyweight. So we're just messing around, He's like, "Oh, you used to wrestle?" I'm like, "Yeah, a little bit." So he starts like beating my ass, cross face. I had like a bloody nose. He like ripping my face apart. He choked me out like real quick. And he's like, "Just tell me when you're out." I'm like, "How am I gonna tell you when I'm out?" Like I tried to tap. He put me out for a second, and I woke up. I'm like, he was laughing because he's a nutcase. But funny story about Steve Neal. So away games. Before Four Locos were illegal, like before Four Locos were banned for what they had on them or whatever, so he would pack four Locos in his like carry-on, and after the game, he would have two of them for me, two of them for him, and like the first time I tried to drink one Four Loko, I was like, dude, I have Toradol in me, I have 2 Tylenol. I have 5-hour energy. I have no explode. And I just played 3 hours, and I'm going to drink a Four Loko. So I had one. I'm like, dude, this is no way I could do this. And he would drink 2 of them and be completely fine. The guy was an animal, complete animal.
Yeah, those things are dangerous.
They're insane. There's a reason why you can't have them. Well, so we were out. This is another, like, I don't know if you guys before a fight, like, do you guys take like any type of like upper, like a, like a pre-workout, like anything?
Yeah,
no, we're not actually allowed to take anything at all.
Like an Explode or caffeine or anything? Coffee? Cup of coffee?
I drink a bunch of coffee. That's about it.
So they have this stuff. It's called Vibrant, right? It's a caffeine tablet. So we were in Oakland playing the Raiders, and my buddy was like, here, have one of these. It's like a caffeine pill. It's like just energy. So Trevor Scott. Thanks, Trevor. So I would usually do this. I called it Ninko juice. It was 2 scoops. It was 2 scoops of NO Explode. It was a scoop of Fast Twitch. It was 2 Red Bulls. And I would like top it off and put a little bit of water in there. And I put it in a Gatorade bottle, and I'd wrap up with white tape. And I would put Ninko juice on it with like a skull and crossbones. So I'm drinking it a little bit, and I took the Vibrant and I just cut it in half, and I was like, I can't drink this. I can't eat this and have this. So like 3rd, 4th quarter, I had like these like trembles. Like I was like I felt like I had way too much caffeine. And on that flight back home, I couldn't sleep. I was like up the whole time. It's a bad deal. Don't take a caffeine pill and caffeine.
Those things tear me apart.
It gets your heart going. Yeah. So I don't do that anymore. But
and it'll explode your heart.
It will explode. Yeah. So if I have a heart attack, it's because of that. But anyway, Daniel, do a full intro here because I don't want to mess up.
What do you mean full intro?
Like everybody.
Oh, okay.
We got to introduce everybody.
So to my right, we have Tyson Chartier. You get it right?
Yep.
See, look at that. Coach 2020 Coach of the Year.
Hell yeah.
And then right next to him, we have Rob Font, who's the number 5 bantamweight in the world.
Yes, sir.
And then next to him is Calvin. I always get this wrong.
I
Kattar.
can't wait. Yeah, it was actually, man, that was pretty good.
Look at that. Yeah. You would have fucked it all up.
That's why I didn't do it. That's why I passed it on.
Yep.
Who's also the number 5 featherweight.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Look at that. Yeah, that's who we got here. Calvin runs Combat Zone, which is going to be the fight tonight, the first one ever at Encore.
Hopefully
on St. Patrick's Day.
Nah, it'll be good. This is Boston.
It'll be amazing.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
St. Patrick's Day,
St.
Boston.
Patty's Day.
Fights
Also,
are happening either
it is
inside or outside the
a
cage.
St. Patty's Day special here at the Dan and Ninko Show. So I wore my tee. You know this tee with the...
Yeah, I just showed up.
This is the T-shirt.
I know.
Like, hey, y'all, want to see a leprechaun? This here's a leprechaun flute. It's like the amateur sketch of the leprechaun. I got this on Amazon.
Awesome.
It's a good tee.
That's
it's a good tee.
classic.
So this is interesting to me. So, like usually as an athlete, you go and you have like, it's like a process of you go to high school, then you go to college. Then that like after college, there's a professional thing for like football, basketball, baseball. When you guys were younger, was fighting something that you thought about, or was it like wrestling was like your number one, and then it kind of evolved into like, this is my next opportunity?
Yeah, I just kind of started with high school wrestling, and I kind of jokingly tell everybody, but it's the truth. Like everybody I lost to in wrestling, I felt like if I could have just punched them, I would have won. If I could have just fought them, they could beat me in a wrestling match, all that shit they're doing.
Yeah.
But if I could just, strike and fight them, I'd beat them up. But a lot of red flags growing up that this would be what I'd be doing, but I never had the forecast thinking someday like I'm going to be a fighter.
Yeah. How about you,
For me,
Rob?
it was like no wrestling, no martial arts background, any boxing. I just happened all on accident. I was in Tampa, Florida, delivering pizzas at the time, and I drove up to a house. They were doing jiu-jitsu outside, and just kind of caught the bug, got addicted to it, and that was nonstop.
Wow.
There. I couldn't leave the gym.
So how old were you when you started
That was
training?
I just turned 21.
21. So that, you didn't wrestle?
No,
Crazy.
wrestle like
That
nothing.
is insane.
So to all you pizza delivery guys out there,
Yeah, if you want to
You know what I'm
bust some
saying?
heads in.
So-
Like,
Let me know. I'll show you the ropes.
So talk about, and I always ask this question, it's interesting for guys when they have success and they start, like their first experience with it. Like, what was your first fight? Like actual organized fight?
My first fight was actually a kickboxing smoker. I took out in Tampa, Florida. It was a 3-round, 2-minute each round, and we actually lost that one. I just went out there, and it was like maybe 6 months of training. I just went out there and I just tried it out. It was like, let's just try it out. And then we went out there. I won the first round and slowly gassed out, and then I lost the last 2 rounds. But then from there, it was like even the walkout, the one round I did win, it was just like the best feeling ever. So I just kept pushing, kept going.
Yeah, there's not much comparable to that like first initial walkout feeling.
Yeah.
You can't really compare it. I don't have it anymore, but the only thing I can compare it to that really you get like, damn, this is crazy, is when I saw my kids, when I see them for the first time, you get that feeling like, oh my God, like you feel numb kind of. And
imagine.
I would say that that's better, but the second to that was walking out of the tunnel and like the crowd and like getting ready to go and like getting your mind right. How about you? What was your first
I just
experience?
jumped in. I started training, and there was a kid, Dave George, that used to own Combat Zone and got me into the fight game. He had a fight, and I started training with him after I started his first fight, and I was hanging with him. 6 months later, I had an opportunity to jump on and take my first fight. I had some high school wrestling in my back pocket. I figured it'd be something fun to do, and they asked me if I wanted to go amateur or pro back then when you could do that, and just figured I'd go pro, naive enough. And I just throw right in the frying pan, and it worked out. I had a crazy fight. I fought like this 34-year-old guy. I'm like 18, 19 years old. My dad's throwing up in the locker room. The guy's closer to his age than mine. You know what I mean? And just got in a crazy fight. I got a finish 2 minutes in the first round. And I was hooked ever since. Just that adrenaline rush, people screaming your name on the walkout. And
yeah, it's wild.
Yeah, coming out to Disturbed, down with the sickness, just trying to treat it like a street fight. Yeah, I was going in wild, man. Just ready to throw down. It was scrappy. Yeah, it was nuts.
Tyson, what was your first fight?
I just got into it jiu-jitsu. I just wanted to be competitive, and then kid that I was training with had a fight. He's like, do you want to spar? I was like, I don't know what sparring is. So I went and I sparred with him, and then I was like, and then coincidentally, like a month later, I met Dana White on a plane, and I went out to Vegas and watched a fight because he's like, oh, you should come out next weekend for the fight. So he gave us tickets. Went back out there, and I saw all the walkouts there. Tito Ortiz, it's all dark. I was like, I got to do this once. And then 15 fights later, So 15 fights later, it's like, happens. Just kept fighting, and then I met these guys and just started kind of coaching accidentally. And it was, but yeah, I missed that.
So how'd you all come together?
I was at a gym fighting, and Rob was there. So I had actually, it's kind of serendipitous. Like Rob, his sister's brother, worked at the first company I had out of college. I worked with this kid, Edwin, which is Catherine's brother, Rob's girlfriend. And he's like, oh, I do jiu-jitsu. So that's why I was like, I'm going to try jiu-jitsu because of Edwin. Yep. And then I had a couple fights, and I went to another gym that was better at striking. And then there, Edwin's like, oh, you should meet my boy Font. He trains at your gym. And I was like, oh, he does. And then I probably met him like 6 months later, and then I always knew there was a connection there. And then I met Rob at the gym. I was like, hey, are you trying to fight? And he's like, yeah. I was like, well, you got to train. You got to train MMA, because he was just doing Muay Thai. But he's like, I thought I had to be invited. I was like, no, just come. So then he started training MMA with us. And then that was probably 2009. Yep. Yeah, 9. And then 2011, I met Calvin on the set of Here Comes the Boom, which is the MMA
Kevin
James. Okay. I met him on that, and then we just stayed friends. And then next thing you know, these guys are number 1 and 2 in New England at 145. I'll let them argue about who was 1 and 2. But
wait, who was number 1, number 2?
I think technically, I don't know. I'm not gonna say.
I mean, technically.
Yeah, I'll let you answer that one.
Let's just say he ain't sitting on the left.
So they were supposed to. Everybody wanted them to fight each other, and at that time I wasn't working with Calvin yet. I was working with Rob, and I was like, you don't need to fight Calvin. He's a good guy. He should go to the UFC as well. I didn't let them fight each other. I said they should train together. And a couple years later, Calvin picked up the phone, called me, and said, hey, I'm looking to fighting again. What do I got to do? And then I said, you got to train with us. So he came in, trained with us, and I told them they should be teammates, not opponents, and the rest is history. These guys are like 2 peas in a pod. They're like best friends, and they both push each other, so it all worked out.
That's pretty cool.
So that's interesting, talk about training with somebody and being with somebody a long time. You just saw the game bred fighting Covington and the shit that was going back and forth there and the way that they were talking to each other. Well, more Covington. That I don't know. He goes a little bit too far for me. But I understand that fight game aspect of trying to like build up a fight and trying to get the views and everybody's eyes on it. But to fight somebody that you were training with for a long time, like have you guys ever had to fight somebody that you were training with or were friends with? Like I think that would be a really hard thing to like in your whole career. You've never had to do that.
Friendships come probably after fights for me. But never really before. Maybe we'll start talking title belts and big, locally. No, it's not worth it for me to fight. My buddy, anybody that I might have trained with, for the most part.
But that's a crazy thing, like too, when you see a fight, and sometimes it kind of correlates in all sports. Fighting's a little bit different when, in a sense of like literally it's just man on man, but it's funny how you can literally beat someone's ass, right? And then they just gain the respect of you, and it's like, and in football, I can just only compare it to going against somebody multiple times, year after year for a long time. And then after you're like done, it's like, yo, bro, like, I respect you. You're a hell of a player. Like, I got you, you got me. Because at the end of the day, like, there's another aspect of any type of physical combat sport. It's you're gonna get caught eventually. You're gonna get it. So, like in football, like nowadays, especially with these young kids, they got the highlights. Like, oh, you got your ass kicked. I'm like, I have been decleated and I've had my ass kicked. I've been knocked out. Yeah, like they get paid too. Like they get paid too. It happens, right? So it's it's cool that when you can get that respect from somebody just when you beat their ass.
That wouldn't have happened though if you were rushing in on Tom Brady. If you didn't play on the same team, you would have stopped. You would have stopped. You would have stopped.
That's like the number one guy I'd want to kill. Tom Brady. Like just boom.
It's like him and Troy Aikman are right here. You would never tackle him.
I would get him.
No, you wouldn't.
Oh man, I'd slice him in two.
Even if you did, you would get up and apologize right away.
It's over now.
Yeah.
Not for him.
Not for him. He's like 45. He's going to be wearing.
He came to the league 10 years before Ninko, and he's been out.
Tom needs the gold toes with the Air Monarchs because he's 45. That's his age group right now. He's going to be collecting Social Security.
You don't grill with like avocado and stuff like that. I mean, you'd have to grill meat. Like so, you wouldn't need those shoes.
I eat clean, but not like that now. Yeah. The guy don't even drink.
Another level.
That's another level. If you want to play, I mean, Tom is in a different stratosphere. He's like an alien, but. More power to him. We'll cover a little bit of that later on the Patriots side of things. We got a lot of things, but while we have these guys here, we want to talk about fighting.
So, what's the story with Combat Zone? How did it start?
Yeah.
What's going on? Bruce Marshall, back in the day, got the fights going. He was out of Club Lido and Revere for the most part. Had a lot of bad stigma around here, mixed martial arts and things like that back when he was running it. So Revere, Club Lido is probably one of the only venues that would maybe have him. And I actually fought for Club Lido and Revere out there for Combat Zone back in the day. It was pretty wild. Definitely not like a luxurious venue like the Encore Casino, so we've come a long way. But he had ownership. Dave George, my sister's best friend, who got me into fighting, took a fight for them. And eventually took over ownership when Bruce kind of went upside down on a show. Dave paid the fighters, made it right, and then took over promoting. So I started fighting for him. And then Dave, got sick and tired of dealing with all the fighters and promoting as well. So eventually I took over ownership from Dave. And so there's a lot of history with me in Combat Zone. I fought for Combat Zone 9 times. And so now being on the back end, if it wasn't for Combat Zone, I wouldn't be in the UFC. I was telling you earlier. So it's just take a lot of pride in hosting these events. We were the only promotion in New Hampshire for a long time, and so just trying to provide that stage for local guys to come out and compete, and hopefully one day make the UFC like I did, and take a lot of pride in that.
That'd be cool. I mean, there's really only 2 fighters in the UFC from Boston now, right? It's just you two?
Yeah, I mean, maybe no. There's a few, man. It's starting to grow. It's starting to come up out here in the New England area, and it's great to see, man. It's been a long time coming. Usually it's these power gyms, super gyms out there that are getting all the guys in, but you're seeing more and more guys from New England make it nowadays, and it's great to see.
Yeah. When you started out, it's like a evolution of a fighter, right? And you talk about, like, you always hear a guy after a fight, like a well-rounded fighter. Is your base like jiu-jitsu, or like what did you start out as, like your core base of like ground and pound, grappling, all that stuff? Is it a jiu-jitsu base or is it
So
something?
I first started off at a jiu-jitsu school
Yeah.
in Florida, but I think I picked up striking a little quicker.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, I had no background, so the goal was to kind of be just a well-rounded fighter everywhere.
Yep.
You know, we're still working towards that. It just gets so much harder once you get to the higher levels. Where
Yep.
It's like, that guy that had been wrestling all his life is just a little harder to deal with than your average guy that's just been doing MMA. So,
Yeah.
But we're always grinding, always constantly working, and I think I pride myself on not having that background and still going out there and beating these guys.
What's a harder, I guess, guy to prepare for? Like a striker, like a stand-up guy, or just a guy that started out wrestling? Like, are they harder to prepare for?
How would you answer that?
I think it's all situational, but I think when you look at like those wrestlers that want to keep it standing, those are the dangerous guys because you probably can't take it down. If they have the wrestling advantage, they're going to be able to dictate where the fight goes.
Yeah.
So it's like preparing for 15 minutes of like barrage of wrestling. You're going to gas out, and then you're going to be tentative to strike, so you're not going to land as much. It's very frustrating. And then that adds you look at Khabib, it's like frustrating fighting a guy like that. And then you look at Khabib, it's like he's going to land power shots because you're so worried about the takedown.
Yeah.
So those guys are really hard to get ready for. But I'd say in general, if the guy has an extensive wrestling advantage over you, it's hard to prepare for that because you have to fight where they dictate where the fight goes.
Got it. Yeah, especially if they get you on the ground and you can't get up.
Yeah.
It's the worst.
That's a bad feeling. So I mean, I've never been in a situation where I was getting grounded, pounded, but I always think to myself, like when I see a fight and I'm like, okay, that dude's like in a bad spot and you can't do anything about it. You're
It's
just
tough,
like
man.
in that spot, you just got to deal with it.
Then you got the guy's body weight on top of you.
And you're
gotta
just
gravity ain't working
Yes.
in your favor.
Yes, for sure. But like getting back to the wrestling aspect of things, of the ground pound stuff, has there ever been a moment where like in a spot and you just, it's like natural instincts, like you're so tired because you guys train and get yourself, there's a balance. Like with football, Bill would have us do like 2-minute no huddle, so you're super gassed, but then throw in like a bunch of plays where you have to like think, but it's almost like you're not consciously thinking about the play, or just like it's like you're like, oh yeah, it's like you're an autopilot. Like, does that happen with you guys as well?
100%. Half the knockouts or big shots I land, like I don't even realize what I'm doing until afterwards, until I actually see it. Because you're just reacting, you're just going in. Especially if you hurt somebody, and like for me, it's like the moment I hurt somebody and I see like. It's like a feel, like you feel the room change, you can hear the crowd, like you can actually feel their body kind of give out. Then from there, it's just go. And then like once I get to that point, I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just going on instinct.
Slow you down.
Yeah, and then especially if you're sitting there trying to think about what's the next move, you're definitely not going to throw anything. And then from there, it's like it's just get this guy off you. You're just waiting for the ref to pull him off. And then from there, you're just trying to enjoy what you just did on the big screen and trying to see what you did, because like
you got no clue what
it's like I have no idea what I just did, and it's just like, and it's like we plan it out like we're gonna do that, and it makes sense, but then when it actually happens, it's just chaos.
And then post fight, they write it up like, here Font was trying to do this, and you're like, maybe, probably, sounds good.
It's crazy because it's completely different sport, but it's similar in the sense of your body and reacting, and then even remembering, like recollecting. I can't think back on some big moments, and I'm like, I gotta see it, and then you like think about it, like that's what happened. But in the moment, you're just kind of zoned in,
I know Ninko has a tough time with this, but like the critiques after the fight, right? Like all the people online that are taking
it's bad. It's bad, man. It gets real bad. Like
you would have done this, you should have done that. You should.
It's only getting
worse. It's so bad. It's I take it when it's obviously great criticism and good technique, if they're actually giving me like solid technique and good feedback. But if it's just, oh man, you should have hit him more than he hit you, and it's kind of like, oh come on, man. Like,
well, a lot of people have no idea what the hell they're talking about, and they also have never put themselves in the position because they got no balls to actually go out there and try to do it.
A world-class fighter versus a world-class fighter. I mean,
it's like
those punches hurt.
You're gonna get it.
Same way your punches hurt somebody, their punches hurt you.
Scotty O'Brien, one of the special teams coaches for years with the Patriots, would always say, listen, There's going to be a moment where you get beat, but they get paid too. Like, they're supreme athletes. It's how you learn from it and how you grow. Like, that's how you're going to be a really good player for a long time. You know, there's people, you get beat and then they go the other way. Like, they just turn off, or they just never get back to that moment because it eats at them and they never improve at it. Or there's other guys, they might get beat a couple times, or they might get beat and knocked down, and then they learn, like, okay, this is what I screwed up at. And then, boom, they're like, go on a great run. You know, it's similar. Like, it's crazy. All sports, I'm telling you, like, talking to all different athletes, they all have comparables, like mentally, like how you prepare, how you put yourself in that, like, fight or flight mode, how you react to a loss. It's crazy how it's all similar.
It's I think the hardest part is learning how to lose and getting better off of the losses and still having that same confidence in
just don't look at comments on Instagram.
That's the comments on Instagram.
Even on this show, there's going to be comments.
He goes nuts.
Like, there you go. I got that. Like,
Thank
like
God you don't have TikTok.
I say stuff back to
you
people.
couldn't handle
like,
TikTok.
DM me and I'll smack the shit out of you. Right?
Yeah,
you couldn't handle
the TikTok stuff.
And then they'll come back with "Go Pats." So you're telling me you're trying to be my friend, or you're just trying to get a response?
Well, my favorite thing is they shit talk you, and then the next thing is you are my favorite Patriot of all time.
Exactly. They say something, and then I'll say something back, and they're like, "Well, I don't want to be offensive, but I'm like, dude, get out of here, go kick rocks, bro."
Yeah, I noticed that when I made my debut for the UFC, I was that night Ronda Rousey fought.
Yeah.
At that time, she was a mega star, and I remember the same group were booing her at the weigh-ins, were literally chasing her down the hallway to get her autograph.
Oh yeah, same people.
I was like, what the hell just happened? It was crazy. Like, chasing her to the point where she had security, had to, like, move out the way, get her out there.
That's like the Tom Brady. We were just talking about Tom Brady. You know, when he played here this year, half the fans had two jerseys on. The first one was the Patriot Tom. Then he runs out and they rip it off. They have the Tampa jersey underneath there. They're booing him and cheering him at the same time.
They had the split ones.
Yeah,
the half
split,
Patriots.
I don't get the split jersey. Like, you have to make a decision. There's no split. You can't split down the middle of jersey.
The only person that can wear a split jersey is like
his mom.
Like the McCourty's.
Like McCourty's.
You know, because they got 100%.
Yeah.
But, like, you can't wear the same guy with two different teams. Like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
I think that makes sense, like, conventionally thinking, like, if you look at the history, but the sport's changed. And I know you're deep into it, but I've been a Patriots fan my whole life. Even, like, growing up, it was like I watched football with my dad, and we were just watching. We wanted to beat Dan Marino. You know, that's how old I am. Like, we wanted to beat Dan Marino twice a year. Nothing else mattered. You weren't playing for the playoffs. And that was, like, the diehard thing that you get. But now, I think with fantasy football, free agency, all that stuff, people are more fans of, like, their fantasy teams and players. Yeah. So, like, no, there legitimately is people that are more of a Tom Brady fan than they are a Bucs or a Patriots fan. So I think that's what you're seeing. They don't care. They don't really care about the teams anymore. They're following players. Like, you know, and if you ask people, why is your favorite team the Buffalo Bills, like 5 years ago, they're like, well, I was a big Jim Kelly fan or whatever. So I think you're starting to see the sport from a fan standpoint shift. And it's becoming more like, I'm fans of different players. I'm going to follow them. And they're not loyal to any one team.
Especially now with, like, social media now. You can kind of, like, relate to them a little more.
I just want to see those people, though, as fans of Tom Brady. They're going to buy his $200 T-shirt and his $400 sweatpants.
Well, I almost made a comment.
I made him have it on.
I didn't want to blow up his post today. He had a post today, and he had a T-shirt. He's like, "Hey guys,
it had the creases in it." Like,
it had the creases, but the pocket. Like, if you have a T-shirt with a pocket on it, it can't. The pocket placement has to be like.
It's like in the middle.
No, it was to the armpit. Like, I'm like, I was almost ready to hit send. I was gonna put. Did you guys do the research on pocket placement? Because that's in the armpit.
He said it took them a year to come up with the T-shirt.
A year.
On the post. Wow. 1 year to make that It's a fucking T-shirt.
It still had the fold creases on it. Like, somebody said, here, put this on, do a post.
It came up. It's like, you know, the dress shirts that you get that you take them right out of the thing. It had like the fold.
Yeah, it had the fold crease and it just came out of the package.
It's the funniest thing ever. But he said it took him 1 year to make that T-shirt. 1 year.
What is it? Pima cotton or something? It's like Egyptian cotton.
He said it was like the most expensive cotton ever. Yeah, sure. That's why it's $100.
It's soaked in avocado oil.
See the lines?
Yeah, you can see it.
Yeah,
And we need to get some like different lighting on him because he looks old in that picture,
For
video,
athletic
whatever.
build.
He's just
He's
getting.
wearing it.
awesome.
What's that?
Yeah, he goes for an athletic cut. Like
This is a V
like
cut.
he's just jacked and everything.
Not like dad
It's
bod
like
shirts.
baggy up.
Yeah, you should do a dad. No, that's a good idea. Dad brand, dad bod brand, or something like that.
Yeah.
Straight dads. With the Air Monarchs.
I'm rocking that.
There's nothing wrong with that. Like, come on.
I don't.
fanny
You'd
packs.
wear it though. You have the Tom Brady pajamas.
No, well, he sent them to me. They're for recovery.
Yeah, and how often do you wear them?
I haven't worn them in a while. I tried them like he
So
sent.
you've worn 'em?
He had I have worn them. Every person in the locker room had a box at their locker, and it was a pair of like recovery pajamas. So it was a top and pants, but it was like long sleeves. I don't sleep with a long sleeve shirt on. Like, who sleeps with a long sleeve
You obviously
shirt
clearly don't recover like he does.
on? No, it had
immune to
something
the sun?
inside of the material. I don't know. It's soft though. It was soft. Maybe got the cotton from Under Armour because it was an Under Armour brand before the Brady brand.
Yeah, and the prices went up like 4 times.
That's right.
Yeah, on the fighting side, I know probably one of the most frustrating things for you guys is the business side of the fighting side, right? Of the whole fight game, like where you have all these people that block fights, that sit there and don't take them. I mean, I think Rob, in your division, a title fight hasn't happened in what, like a year?
Yeah, it's been backed up for.
Right? It's
No,
not
October,
a year.
March, and then October they had an interim title.
Yeah, but it's not the full title fight. It was
Right.
interim
Yeah.
title fight.
Yeah, it's been backed up. It's tough, man. It's annoying, Like I'm blessed to have like guys like Tyson work with me because like I would go crazy thinking about it and arguing and like it'd be nuts. But
it's arbitrary too. It's not even like the number 1 contender fights for the title. It could be the number 6 guy fights for the title. It could be the number 3 guy. It could almost be anything. Like Conor McGregor will get another title fight, and he has
that
one
guy
fight.
probably will
And,
come back in. And
There's no way he's got a title fight right now.
he'll get a title fight.
No, right now?
Maybe.
Probably
I wouldn't
coming
be
back.
surprised.
Really?
I wouldn't be surprised.
You got to figure out what plays into that. Is the champion does have a little say in who he fights,
Yeah.
and the champion is the one that gets a portion of the pay-per-view. So if you're Gaethje or Oliveira and you win this fight in May, you want to fight Conor McGregor.
Yeah, it's
so
a huge
not just
payday.
him. It's like, he wants the title fight, but then you have the champion saying, I want the title fight because I'm going to make so much more money on pay-per-view. And then the UFC's like, well, we're going to make more money too. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So that's how it all comes together.
Yeah, he'll probably get a title fight right coming back. That'll probably be his next fight.
Well, it's
title
like
fight.
Diaz right now. Like Diaz wants to fight now. Like he has 1 fight left under his contract, and he's gonna go do whatever. But he's like, can we get this thing going? Like I'm ready to go. Like I want to just
That's
get
the
the fight
business side.
over
They
with.
control it all.
Dana's over there like, I'll figure it out.
We'll see.
Take my
We'll
time.
schedule in.
Yeah, I'll figure. I'll
let
look
you
at
know.
the schedule. Yeah. Who would he fight? You think? Who do you think Diaz a good matchup would be?
Poirier? Yeah.
Look, I think Dustin would probably be a good
See, I
one
think-
for him.
Yeah, I think Dustin would
I
get
like
him
Wonder
though.
Boy. They're both coming off losses.
But isn't Dustin?
They're both strikers. It's like neither one of them are chasing a title right now. Fun striking match.
Diaz versus anybody, man. He's fun to watch.
Yeah, that dude's
You're running
tough.
the
man.
Masvidal rematch back. They're both coming off of
Well,
losses.
the last fight they stopped it from that cut,
Yeah.
which, you don't know how it's going to end because it always seems like Diaz never gasses out. So it's the like later rounds where he just turns it on and the other guy's gassed out, and they stopped it because they cut on his eye. It was the 3rd round or something. But I think that was a bullshit because the freaking fight was amazing, and Masvidal kind of got out on that one. But I think that would be a great one to see. I'd like to see that.
I want to see Nick Diaz get back too. I know he broke the ice after a long layoff. Maybe he wasn't in shape there, but I'd like to just see him get back in shape, go back to his old ways.
Yeah, it was rough watching him.
Yeah,
with-
funny
with the
story.
body.
Check this out. You see that Combat Zone logo?
Yeah.
You see that silhouette?
Yeah.
Who's that look like?
Diaz.
Nick Diaz.
Yeah.
How funny is that? I told him that in person.
Is that him?
That's him. It's a silhouette
just
of Nick
like him.
Diaz, him.
Yeah, that's.
I had my graphics guy made that was our Combat Zone logo. It was a silhouette, Nick Diaz, Combat Zone baby, Diaz Army. I seen him in Vegas, and we were like, it was late.
Late night.
It was late.
It was a late
And I
night.
broke out, showed him, and he just like was like mine was blown. I was like, whoa. I'm like, yeah, it's crazy.
His mind was
was
blown.
funny.
Probably,
Yeah, I
maybe
mean-
something he did before he was.
That's all I'll say about
Exactly.
that.
Exactly.
But,
No,
yeah.
it was a good. When I saw him, I was like, damn, he looks a little bit out of shape, right? He looked kind of big. He gassed out a little bit, but he's still tough as nails. He took a bunch of he takes everything like a champ, and then he said, you know what?
I'm out.
I'm gonna give it back to this guy. He got it on me, because he was taking a few. But let's take that was a great intro. Love this. This is a great time right now. We're gonna take a little break. We'll be right back, and I got to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, that's
I was like
funny.
sweating.
All right, we got a new sponsor, the Brunt sponsor.
Let's go.
So these are like Carhartt, but better. This is better than Carhartt. So this is the Brunt stuff. This is like workwear. So I don't know what size is what. 10 and a half?
Boom.
You're 10 and a half?
Yeah,
Oh
thank you.
shit. You know what they say about the shoe? Big socks, 11?
No, 11, that would have been him if that was you.
Those are yours? They didn't send me some because I already have a bunch. 9 and a half?
You're not gonna say. Yeah, I'll probably take. I'll take it.
And what are you? Men's size 6? What is that? A men's size 6? There it is. Who wears a men's size 6?
9.
I know, I'm kidding. That's from the freaking movie. Come on. The Hangover. Who wears a men's size 6? He's in the car.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly, Daniel.
Yeah, you got me on that one. Yeah, but check them out. Brunt.com. Use Dan and Ninko code. Get $10 off your order. It's great stuff. T-shirts are great. Jackets are great. Hoodies, boots, everything.
All right, well, thanks for coming out. We're going to cover some more stuff on the NFL, the Patriots. They're not doing a goddamn thing. They're just waiting for something to happen. They're going to get the Bills are going to just...
It's a good thing.
Okay, we'll figure that out in a bit. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Thanks, brother. Yeah, this is awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Always, thank you so much.
All right, so we're back. The Dan and Ninko Show, just us now. It was great to have the guys.
Yeah.
Those guys are fucking badasses, man.
Getting ready to watch some badass fights,
God,
too.
I don't like getting
Gonna
hit
see
in
somebody
the
like getting choked
face
out,
like that. I
knocked
would
out.
want to get punched in the face. I don't want to get hit in the head anymore.
There's 8 fights tonight. How many knockouts are there going to be?
2.
I think it's going to be 6.
6?
Yeah.
Everyone wants to see people sleeping anyway.
That's what I mean. Well, if you look at some of the weigh-ins, there look like there's some mismatches there.
All right,
some look kind of bad.
let's dive into these Patriots. Okay, I got some issues.
Okay, well,
I'm going to air my grievances.
Yeah, it's like Festivus right now.
What are we doing? You trade away Shaq? For who? Listen,
Cap
we're
space.
going into the second year of Mac Jones. Mac Jones, we all are high on Mac Jones. We think he's going to be a great player. He's not going to be a great player if he's getting ping-ponged around the pocket and his ass kicked. So they need to figure out the offensive line situation. Trent Brown ain't there, right? He's gone too, right?
Not yet. They're talking to him.
They're not going to listen. He's going to get top of tier.
Here.
He says he wants to win, but then he's going to talk to Seattle with no quarterback.
Yeah, that's not going to make any
It's
sense.
all about this.
He put a thing
It's
out
all
there.
about that. So
Yeah.
listen, Von Miller.
That don't make any sense.
Von Miller's $120 million contract.
Dumb
Buffalo
contract.
Bills,
Dumb,
33-year-old pass rusher. I can tell you this about pass rushing. It's tough on your body. His joints, his ankles, like
He's a speed guy.
He's a speed guy.
Yeah,
He's a speed guy. So he might.
J.J. Watt doesn't look that great at.
No,
32,
J.J. Watt has
33.
been stealing money for the last 4 years.
10
He's a
million?
great football player.
Well,
but
Von Miller's stealing
at
money.
the-
A 6-year, $120 million. That's stealing money.
he might not play. He might play like 12 games for them, and then just
That's
walk
stealing
off
money.
with $50 million.
But you got to be excited.
Chandler-
You
even
gotta be
Chandler-
excited as a Patriots fan. They went out and did that because they're fucking their whole cap.
No, I still think
Yeah.
that.
Stupid.
I don't think it's going to mess our cap. The cap is irrelevant now. You see these teams that are like
It's
$30
not,
million
though,
over the cap.
eventually- But then it catches up to you over time.
I don't know about that.
It
I think
does.
that I
because
think
you
that
keep kicking it down. You keep kicking all the dead cap
everybody.
down the
Well, what are
road.
we doing? The Patriots aren't kicking anything down the line.
They
Who's
have for a long time.
who's-
That's what happened in 2020.
Who's getting paid?
But their thing is though is they have enough. They obviously have space now because of all these moves and everything. So they have space to go out and sign people. They do, but. Do you want them to go take that money and give Christian Kirk 5 years, $82 million, or
No.
give
I don't
Von
know who
Miller
Christian
6 years,
Kirk is. I don't even know
but
who he
that's
is.
what I mean. Like, so you gotta. So they're being responsible enough with
But
it.
why trade Shaq? I had an issue with that. Why
Because
trade
what I think
Shaq?
is going to happen is that I think they're going to re-sign Trent Brown to play right tackle. I think they're going to go out and
I don't-
get a good left tackle.
They're
and
not
then
gonna pay him-
slide Isaiah Wynn in the guard. So your two guards will be
No.
Mike and and Isaiah Wynn. I'm telling that's what Isaiah Wynn played. He played guard.
It's not going to happen.
He's a guard. He's not big enough to be a left tackle.
If you're Isaiah Wynn and you're the starting tackle and tackles are making how much money, you're not going to be like, oh, yeah, I'll just go play guard.
Though. He's not big enough to be a tackle. He has to go to the inside.
Tell his agent that. His agent's going to be like, no, he plays tackle. That's what
his other thing is he's going to get cut if he doesn't do it.
Then he might go somewhere else and have an opportunity to play tackle.
They free up $10 million and then go get another guard.
I don't think that they've made any. They haven't made. So tell me, as of right now, where we're at on Thursday, March 17th, the old St. Patty's Day.
Yep.
Are the Patriots better today or worse than they were their last game?
No, I don't know. They look pretty bad their last game.
Yeah. Are they worse than that? They don't have high. They don't have a linebacking core.
If you don't,
Winovich is gone.
You don't have high. You don't have Winovich. Like, did that really do anything for you?
You don't have Shaq. You don't have Ted. So you have no guards. You have no starting tackle.
You have Mike Omenuowow. I can never pronounce his last name.
How many games did he start?
Who's the starting?
Who's the blind side tackle? Who's your blind side?
Right. Well, it's Isaiah Wynn that you're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm saying you kick Isaiah Wynn to guard. So you just said that
they wanted to put him at guard.
Yes, and then you get a better left tackle.
Who's better?
Leo Collins.
Are they going to get Leo?
He just got released.
Is Bill going to write a check to Leo for $30 million a year?
He just got released.
No, that's not happening.'re not doing that. I'm telling you, they're just be like, well, we're just going to build through the draft, and we're going to trade, and we're going to do all this stuff.
Bill,
what's the biggest issue in the least improved area of this team that we really don't talk about?
What?
Coaching staff. Who's the offense? Who's the OC?
Kaylee.
I like Kaylee, but he's not named the OC.
Then, huh?
Why not name him the OC?
Maybe they're going to do it in camp.
Why bring back Joe Judge?
Because their special teams were horrible last year.
So is he a special teams coach now?
I think so.
Said he's an offensive overseer.
It doesn't matter what you are, but is Joe Judge a good special teams coach?
Yeah.
Is he probably one of the best special teams coaches in the NFL?
I don't know. Maybe.
You played.
He hasn't. Yeah, but he hasn't been a special teams coach in a long time.
3 years, 2 years.
What was his ranking on head coaching?
Doesn't mean you could be a very good special teams coach, offensive coordinator, a terrible coach. You don't think
I like Joe Judge.
McDaniels going to be a terrible coach?
I like Joe Judge. McDaniels, they're going to have a hell of a pass rush show. Mad Max, $98.98 million. Jeez. Chandler, 3 years, 50. Oh, I wish I was born in.
I mean, I would definitely rather sign Chandler. I
wish I was born like 10 years
Chandler,
earlier.
Though, get half the contract of Von Miller?
Well, he only signed for 3 years.
But it's also $50 million. If you break out Von Miller's, it'd be.
I would rather Chandler Jones than Von Miller.
That's what I mean.
I mean, especially he's 30.
But the thing is, all these Patriots fans are freaking out because they haven't signed anybody yet. The alternative: do you want them to sign Von Miller at 6-year, $120 million? Do you want them to sign Christian Kirk at 5-year, $85 million? Like, what do you want them to do? I wouldn't sign any of those guys.
I want them to sign somebody.
But there's still a bunch of guys out there, though. Allen Robinson's still out there.
I want to. Okay, go sign Allen Robinson. Go make him the highest paid receiver.
He would be the highest paid receiver. That's why he's still out there.
Go pay him. Go give him your hard-earned cash. You had 2 tight ends that you overpaid, and guess what? There was not one.
One's played pretty well.
Who?
Hunter Henry's played fine.
Hunter Henry's decent.
But that's the thing, though, is with the Patriots that people are forgetting. They had so many guys that could perform that are underperformed that could possibly get there, like Jonnu Smith. What if Jonnu Smith plays to his level? What does the offense go to?
Well, you paid 2 tight ends a lot of money. You would think that they'd put those 2 tight ends in packages together.
But they didn't.
Why not?
Because Josh McDaniels is a genius.
It didn't make sense to me. Does not make sense to me. The person that I think is going to be like the best player the Patriots have is Stevens.
Yeah. I mean, he's
I think he's going to be the best running back in the league.
He'll be better than Harris.
I 100% think he's going to be, because he's a catch and run guy. You lose Bolden.
But the other thing is people forget about some of the signings they have made. James White is a huge signing for the Patriots and a huge signing for Mac Jones.
But this is my only thing. They only gave him $500,000 guaranteed.
Yeah.
So with that,
hip.
They're making sure that he's healthy.
Yeah. But if he's healthy, before he went out last year, he was on pace to catch 90 balls.
He's a great football player.
That's what I mean. But what if Mac Jones had James White all year?
I don't know. They couldn't throw the ball down the field. They had no receivers. They need
James
to
White
go
doesn't go down the field.
I know, but they need a receiver because when you're
need
playing
Allen
defense,
Robinson.
it's all about threats. So when you have a good receiver that you're like, okay, we have to make sure we double this guy, and your linebackers have to make sure they get depth in their drops, then what does that do for your underneath routes with your running backs? It opens up that passing game. It opens up the flat routes, the angle routes, the wheel routes. It's all spacing. So when you have great receivers, it opens up the underneath stuff. When you have no receivers that nobody's like threatened by, you're tighter to the line of scrimmage. You're like, okay, instead of dropping 15, drop 10. You're 5 yards away from the guy. Go tackle him. There's things that happen with having a great receiving core, good tight ends, good running backs, good offensive line. Like, it all works together. When the Patriots were great, they had a good offensive line. They had good running backs. They had the best quarterback of all time. Decent receivers. They've never had, like, great receivers.
Well, there's 2 receivers just got released last night and then today. Which one would you sign? Julio Jones or Cole Beasley?
Cole Beasley. He's what you would run offensive stylistic wise of what the Patriots.
What if you get OBJ for an incentive laden deal?
OBJ tearing his ACL in the Super Bowl, he's not gonna be ready till.
They're saying he's gonna be ready week 1.
No, he ain't gonna be ready week 1. And if he is, I need to know his doctor.
You never know.
I'm going in for some blood work. Okay, because there ain't no way you tear your ACL in February, you're good for week 1.
But
or he'll tear it again. Like, it's just the way it is. It takes 6 months for your ACL to actually vascularize and actually become one with your body. So if you're like 6 months after you have an ACL, it's not literally connected to your body. It's just held together with the screws that they put in there.
Yeah.
It takes a long time for that stuff to tack down.
The big thing for the Patriots, though, is that there's a lot of guys that we didn't see last year, these rookies, these these drafted guys that are going to step up now. How do you feel seeing, though, that almost every linebacker is going to be under 235 pounds for the Patriots?
It's going to be weird.
That's the way the NFL's
weird,
going.
man. It's going to be like big brother push around little brother. Just boom.
That's what the NFL's going to.
TJ, what we got for time? What do you say? Oh, you have 30 minutes?
You got plenty of time.
Plenty of time. Plenty of time to cover the Patriots.
I mean, I like to talk about, though, that this T-shirt is nicer than the Brady brand T-shirt.
I think that T-shirt, it's like a weathered tee. It's like the best.
This is cotton. It's not like a weird name that you can't pronounce. Like, it actually feels good and all that.
No, do you know?
There's no pocket.
You ever have like does it like Gildan cotton tees? Like they're like it's like
as can be.
Thick, and you have to wash them for 10 years before you could ever wear it.
Yeah,
these are actually soft.
These are soft as can be.
Go get yourself a Brunt T-shirt. All right, we're not selling T-shirts on the show. I know, but green is cool.
We are, but we can sell T-shirts because if you use the Dan and Ninko code.
St. Patty's Day. It's St. Patty's Day.
If you use the Dan and Ninko code, you get $10 off your order.
I'll take $10 off.
Yeah,
I'm gonna order some tees. Green one.
Green one?
Yeah,
I like the green one.
It is nice. But anyway, back to the Patriots. I think that they're. I don't know. I hate to say it. I feel like they might be a tough year. Might be another rebuild.
No.
Might be another
rebuild.
They should sign Cam Newton back.
Why? You love Mac Jones.
Sure, that's what you had for the rebuild. Just do another one.
You see that the news, though, is Deshaun Watson's narrowed down his teams that he's going to go to either the Falcons or the Saints.
He'll go to Falcons.
He's from Atlanta.
Yeah, he'll go to Falcons.
If he was smart, he'd go to the Saints.
If he was smart, yes.
If he goes to the Saints, they're the Super Bowl favorite.
Well,
top 5 defense.
Yep.
Weapons, right? You get Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas.
True.
Good offensive line.
Yes.
Good coaching.
Yes.
A stable franchise and all that. And sky's the limit.
I just don't. I think, like the whole Dirty Bird, do the whole thing in ATL, like the city itself.
I think he'll go. I mean,
being from there,
he'll have unlimited masseuses there. I mean,
you got the disc.
I mean, he'll be
scratch the disc on that one.
I'm still confused though. Is that so? He'll play right with 20+ pending sexual lawsuits or whatever, right? Where he's like,
I guess
he's talking about that, right?
No, they still can. They can still suspend him now.
I know, but they're going to let him play because if not, these teams wouldn't trade for him. But you have Calvin Ridley. That when he was out of football, not associated with the team, he was out for the season and everything, he bet $1,500 on football, and he is out for the year.
They have to set an example. Listen, we are in the wonderful Encore.
Deshaun Watson sexually assaulted 20+ people.
Allegedly. anyway.
He allegedly bet on a game.
I would say like that could be a sense of like I think that they try to put the hammer down on this one because of the fact that you can't have anybody that's gambling and playing football at the same time that's on a team because of the ramifications.
Gambling, though.
Yeah, but I think in this modern society, gambling is more accepted because it's everywhere, and it's just like marijuana. You know, I'm walking in the freaking parking garage here, and there's somebody smoking a bowl. It's like, whoa, is that illegal? Not anymore.
Not Massachusetts.
So you know, when you were younger,
last I checked, though, sexual assault is still illegal.
When
all 50 states.
When I was younger. So that's the difference is it's not a criminal case.
Yeah,
it's not criminal. There's not the investigation, the criminal side of it was.
But
said they couldn't find
criminal things though.
But in this instance, this is all, you know, other accusations for, I guess, right? They're trying to make money on this. They're trying to gain some cash through this because if it was a criminal thing, that'd be a completely different thing. There's so many like variables to that on like guilty, not guilty, real, inaccurate.
Tom Brady got suspended for 4 games.
Yeah, bullshit. All bullshit.
But that's what I mean, though. Like,
he's going to get suspended. I guarantee he gets suspended. He's going to get 6 games. Coming from Ninko first. I'm telling you, he's going to get 6 games.
He's not. I don't think he'll get a single game. And on top of it, he was out last year, but got paid the whole year.
He's going to get 6 games. I'm telling you. They're going to suspend him. Anything like that, especially, they have to set the example. Just like the gambling was overkill because they wanted to make sure. And I guarantee every single off-season, every team is going to have a distinct thing on gambling, and this is strictly forbidden. You're going to cost yourself in your career, your livelihood, your future, your money. Don't do it. Don't gamble. Don't be a part of it. So they're trying to put the hammer down, and unfortunately, he was the
poster child for it.
And you know, Watson on that side of things, that whole thing sucks. I mean, he shouldn't. I personally wouldn't want him as my quarterback. You know, if those things are accurate.
Yeah, so, imagine having like your kids around him or something.
Exactly.
Like so, what do you think about that thing I sent you? The whole getting to cars now. The whole thing about electric cars that I said.
It's all bullshit. The electric car stuff. I mean, all the actual destruction of our Earth and all that stuff is worse. It takes 500,000 pounds of Earth to create one car battery.
Yeah.
Like, just, I kept having to be like, what's the source? What's the source? Just go look it up. Go look up how much Earth does it take to create one car battery. It'll tell you. It'll give you all the amounts.
But the thing that I don't get is like, what are you going to look up when a 1,500-pound battery that's in a car? Like, what do you do with it when the car's gone? Like, what are you making up with that? Like,
I had other people like they're coming up with new ways to recycle and to use all the elements and the resources inside the battery so they could reuse it. I said, okay, well. Yeah, they can't do it now.
Yeah, they can't.
Or the windmills or the solar panels. So it's just like, you know, pull the wool over. This is the better way. This is the cleaner way, which in reality, it's not true.
You know that they polled people, and 70% of the people in this country think a battery actually creates electricity.
Yes. And 60% of our electricity is created by fossil fuels. 19% is actually coal. 40% is actually natural gas, which the natural gas burns. It creates emissions.
But in order to build the electrical infrastructure, you would have to double or triple that.
Triple. And,
go to nuclear.
You know, think about, and I'm not, you know, like everyone's going to be like, oh, you're anti-Earth. That's not true. I just want everyone to realize that it's the same thing. It's literally, it might be even worse considering what they have to do to actually go and mine all that stuff with the cutting down trees that actually filter the air, to actually get the elements out of the ground, which I don't think the United States of America has enough lithium and cobalt and copper and to sustain, you know, 10, 20, 30 years of electric batteries. That's not going to happen. So you're going to have to use outside sources, other countries, which, you know, scratch your nose.
Trying to do business with some countries that we didn't do business with before now.
I'm sure, because of the resources that they have. But just getting back to the main topic of, does it make sense to completely go electric? No, not when all of our electricity is created and made by natural gas and coal. And how do you get away from it? through a wind turbine that uses more natural resources to create because it's so big.
And then what do you do with it when they're all gone?
And then it has no recycled ability. You can't reuse it in any way. It's like, oh yeah, we're gonna have windmills the size of this room just sitting somewhere.
There's one right outside of here. You see it?
I did see it. Not
massive.
moving.
Yeah, no, it wasn't.
They had the brake on, but I don't know. That's for another topic. It's just sitting there, not making energy. It's no wind.
So, getting back to the Patriots, you're upset with so far. Are you just upset with the Shaq Mason move, or are you upset with
I'm upset with the Shaq Mason move. I like the Slate and the McCourty move because they needed to keep the leadership on the team. I think that's vital.
Well, you got Slate, McCourty, and Andrews.
I think the Winovich thing was whatever. I think they trade him and they get another guy that really hasn't done anything. So, what are you going to get out of that guy? I don't know. So it's all going to come down to what do they do in the next couple days.
You need to get a corner.
Do they JC let JC go?
As a smart move.
So now he's not here. You need to get a corner.
It was like $43 million the first 2 years or something like that.
It's pretty good. Well, 25 of it goes to this L.A.
Yeah, I know. That's the
Oof. It's like 12% state tax there.
Yeah. No way.
So 38% federal, 12 state.
No way.
2 to your agent if you pay him.
I wouldn't want that at all. No fucking way.
No thanks.
What would you do, though, if they came up and, signed, Stephon Gilmore, Leo Collins, Allen Robinson?
I would ask someone to pinch me because I'm not conscious.
They got the money to do it now.
I'm sleeping. They're not going to go get Gilmore and Collins.
I think they could.
Haven't you just, if all you have to do is look at the track record of the Patriots. They don't go and they don't spend crazy money.
They did last year.
And how'd that work out?
To be determined.
No, they went out and
First year.
I think the tight end position was maybe a little bit overspending. Obviously, they didn't use him enough.
It's not though. Now when you look at some of these
Judon
deals
was a
people
good player last year, but we'll see. He has to do the same exact thing this year. He has to have 10 plus sacks. He's got to have 10 plus sacks.
But you forget though that they still have Uche that's now going to come up, so you're going to have those two on the edges. You still have Raekwon McMillan, which you didn't see. Ronnie Perkins, you didn't see. Cameron McGrone, you didn't see. Anthony Jennings, you haven't really seen. I mean, so you have people there. Now it matters of what the pieces they put to him. If people think that Bill's not going to go spend the money he has available on free agents right now, you're crazy because he's going to sign more people. They have to. They just have to fill out the roster. He's going to sign more.
I don't know if he is.
Oh, he's going to.
I don't know. I think it's
I think we have to wait and see. I think next week's going to paint a clearer picture of the Patriots. And I think you might change your tune then.
Should we go put $1,000 on black right now?
We could.
I don't want
You wouldn't do it.
I thought about it on the way in. And I was like, just my luck, it would be
And then you'd cry.
0.
You'd be down all day.
I'd be mad because that's $1,000 I could go do.
I think
buy some more Air Monarchs.
You should guess fight tonight.
I don't want to fight. I'm already sleepy. I've been up since 5. I'm working out every day. I'm trying to get tight. I'm trying to get ready. I'm trying to get the guns ready. Comeback.
Yeah.
The comeback with all this money, all this money going around.
You could easily get
38-year-old. Give me a
2 year 15.
No, they wouldn't give you that. They would give me 3 when I was 32. Come on.
But I think that's a wrap. I think we got to get.
It's a good wrap. Yeah, we got to get out. They're kicking us out. This is probably a little bit shorter than usual, but they're kicking us out. They're getting ready for another big time event tonight.
Yeah, but we'll see you guys next week. Check us out at danandninko.com, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and check out brunt.com.
Yep, go check out Brunt.
Use the code Dan and Ninko, get $10 off your order, and we'll see you guys next week.
Happy St. Patty's Day.
Yep, I'm gonna go get a beer.
Top of the morning to you. Lucky Charms. See ya.